Hey guys, I'm back with another Pokemon Sword and Shield Wi-Fi battle, and I've brought today an updated Sun team. And we're going to be facing a Mono Fire team, which is really interesting. It's cool to see those Mono teams. I want to see if I can do one myself, but I forget which videos I've uploaded. I know I've used the Sun team before, but this time I brought the Leafeon. I don't know if I've used Leafeon before. But Leafeon, I think it's one of my favorite evolutions. I just really like the grass type, and the fact that it's a grass evolution is great. We actually have the Vaporeon too. We got two evolutions on this team. And I brought the Drifblim too, just because I haven't been able to do too much with Drifblim. So hopefully we can use them to our advantage here. But let's jump right into this one, guys. So usually with the Sun team, I would send out Torkoal to set up the Sun. But I noticed that my opponent has a Torkoal, so I'm assuming they're going to lead off with that. So assuming they're going to send out the Torkoal to start off, I'm going to send out the Rhyperior. But as you see here, my opponent actually decided to lead off with the Talonflame, which is still a really good matchup for Rhyperior. And here, even though I don't like to do it too often, I'm just going to go for the turn 1 Sword Dance and set up, because I know there isn't much they can do to me, and I don't want to swap out. So, they're going for a U-turn. It's not going to do that much damage. Rhyperior takes that really well. And they're going to be swapping out into the Torkoal as I get the free Sword Dance. And it's going to be a shiny Torkoal, actually, which is a really cool shiny. I might start shiny hunting again. I haven't been doing it in a while. It's just so time consuming. I don't have enough time barely to record these battles, so gotta prioritize that time. But we got that +2 in attack now, and I'm pretty sure anything I can do here is gonna knock out this Torkoal. But the question is, if I go for the Earthquake, they might swap out again and send out the Talonflame, and then the Earthquake would do nothing. So I decided to go risk it and go for the Stone Miss. The Stone Miss is gonna land, which is great, and that Torkoal goes down in one shot, which is also great. So usually those Torkoals have Rapid Spin and Stealth Rock, so all that's gone. And we actually have the Sun up, so the rest of our Pokemon that are speedy Pokemon with the Chlorophyll can take advantage of that. So my opponent's next Pokemon is going to be the Cinderace. Now, this being an all-fire team, Rhyperior can do a lot of damage, so I probably should have saved him or used him a little bit better. But I still have other Pokemon that can take advantage of these fire-type moves. So I'm going to keep Rhyperior in and do as much damage as I can. Get that early lead. As my opponent here goes for the high jump kick, it's going to land and take me down to 12 health. Rhyperior is so thick. He gets that weakness policy off, which really didn't matter. But now I got +4 in attack. So this Earthquake is absolutely going to destroy the Cinderace right here. So that's a huge defensive wall gone, and a huge offensive threat gone with Cinderace. But this is where Rhyperior's day is going to come to an end, because he is super slow. Any Pokemon he sends out is definitely going to knock me out in one shot. I really want to get Rock Polish instead of Sword Dance, but I don't think Rock Polish isn't in Gen 8, so I'd have to transfer it to another game, but I don't have the option to do that right now, so this Rhyperior is just going to have to stick with Sword Dance for now. But I'm putting this next Pokemon through the Blacephalon, and like I said, anything's going to take me out, including a Flamethrower, which I probably, in hindsight, should have swapped out here, because that's basically a free Beast Boost for the Blacephalon here, and he gets a +1 in Special Attack, which kind of sucks. That's going to give me the opportunity to send out Shiftry. And now, I was thinking about going for the Nasty Plot here, because I think he's probably going to switch out. Even if he stays in, I have the Focus Sash that can outspeed and take it out in one shot. But as you see here, my opponent's actually decided to switch out as I go for the Dark Pulse. And the Pokemon that's going to be taking the hit for this Dark Pulse is going to be Incineroar. So this is going to do almost no damage. He does get the Intimidate off, which doesn't really matter because I am a special attacker. Like I said, here comes the Dark Pulse, and it does 3 damage. So that kind of sucks. I'm actually kind of forced here to swap. The question now is, what do I swap into? And I actually decided to go into Vaporeon here. This is a special defensive wall, and Incineroar's usually physical attackers, but that's okay. My opponent here actually makes a smart play, and they go for the U-turn so they can get the better matchup. And that U-turn actually did a lot of damage, well, relatively a lot of damage. And he's going to be switching into the Colossal, and if you guys have seen my other Sun teams, I'm pretty sure I had a Colossal on it. And you know it has that Steam Engine ability, so I know that's probably what he's thinking in his head. He's probably wanting me to go for that Water-type move to get him to max speed, but I know better, guys. I know better. So we're going to go for the Ice Beam instead. It is going to do like 3 damage, but at least my opponent will know that I know what's up with this Colossal. But he just has to go for the Stealth Rock here, actually, which kind of sucks because the Stealth Rock, not the Stealth Rocks, the Focus Sash on my Shiftry is really important, and that Stealth Rock is going to be negating that Focus Sash. I still have Torkoal that can Rapid Spin all that away, but I'm going to have to find a way in a time of the match to do that. But for now, I'm actually going to be switching out with Vaporeon because it is kind of walled. I could go for that water type move, but I don't know if it's going to take out the Colossal. If I don't take it out, it's going to have plus 6 second speed, so I don't want to risk it. We're going to be swapping out and sending out Vaporeon's friend, Leafeon. So Leafeon is going to be the one to take a hit from this Colossal. And it's actually going to be a hit from Self-Destruct, which completely caught me off guard. I was not ready for that, so I was like, oh boy, here goes Leafeon, but Leafeon takes like just over 50% damage there. It takes it really well, and it activates my Citrus Berry, so even after the Self-Destruct, I'm sitting at over half HP here as they blew themselves up. The sun does go away, but we were able to take out that Colossal, which was a huge threat there, so now Vaporeon can use its water moves freely. My opponent's next Pokemon here is going to be the Talonflame, which really sucks because I'm pretty sure that Leafeon's going to go down here. I don't want to swap out into anything else, so I'm just going to go for the Sunny Day just in case I do live a hit. Get that Sun up so the rest of the Pokemon can use that without having to send out Torkoal in the first place. My opponent actually decides to go for the U-turn, which this bulky Leafeon, which is max HP, is going to live. They're going to be swapping out and sending out Incineroar, so that lets me get off the Sunny Day, which is great, so now I can outspeed things. The bad news is, I can't really hit this Incineroar too hard. The best move I have is going to be X-Scissor, which isn't going to do too much damage anyway. But like I said, I don't want to swap out into anything. I'm just glad we got the Sun up. It's only going to be for 5 turns, and I guess 4 turns now, because Leafeon's going to use one here, but that's better than nothing. So we're going to go for the X-Scissor. Psych, actually, my opponent goes first because they have Fake Out. We actually still live the Fake Out though, which is kind of insane. Either way, we got flinched, but we can go for the X-Scissor now, which does almost no damage, which really sucks. But now they go for the U-turn, which was a really weird decision because now I get to see, since I fainted, I get to see what they swap into first, and then I could send out a Pokemon based off of that swap. So they are going to be going back into that Talonflame. I'm guessing just because they want to have that ability to U-turn if they need to. So I decided to send out Drifblim here because I have Thunderbolt on Drifblim. This is a max HP Drifblim with that ability, I forget what it's called. It's got the Flame Orb, so it's got that ability where, I think it's called Flame Boost or Flare Boost, I forget. But they're going to go for the Flare Blitz, and Drifblim is going to go down in one shot. So another match where Drifblim really can't do too much, which really sucks. The good news is we get to swap freely into Vaporeon, which is great because Vaporeon here, with that Colossal gone, you get a little late game sweep. We can just be firing off Skulls without any fear of triggering that Colossal Steam Engine. So interestingly enough here, my opponent, instead of going for the U-turn, just goes for a raw swap into the Incineroar to get, I guess, the Intimidate off, but it doesn't matter because I'm a special attacker. Instead of going for the special attack, I go for the Wish because I assume he wanted to switch. So now I can go ahead and heal some health, and I waited out that last turn of Sun. That I'm pretty sure the Sun reduces damage on water type moves by a little bit. So now this water type Scald is going to do a lot more damage than what I had before. So now we can go for the Scald. We outspeed the Incineroar, and this is going to end up being a 2-hit KO. This Vaporeon is actually mostly defensive, so I think I have some investment in special attack, but not too much, so that's a great damage. They're going to go for the Dankest Lariat, which is going to do a lot of damage, but because of the Wish, we do get a lot of health back, and because of the leftovers, we're almost at full HP. So like I said, this Vaporeon has a chance here for the late game sweep to clutch win the match. So here comes the second Scald, and that's easy going to be taking out the Incineroar. So now we got 3 Pokemon left. We got this Vaporeon, the Torkoal to set up the Sun, and the Shiftry to take advantage of the Sun with the Chlorophyll. And my opponent has 2 Pokemon left, the Blacephalon and the Talonflame. And my opponent decides to send out the Talonflame first. So here, I decided to go for the Wish. I don't think a Scald is going to take this out in one shot. Vaporeon, like I said, doesn't have that much special attack investment. So I'm going to see if he goes for the Flare Blitz and does some recoil damage to himself. So I'm going to go for the Wish and Protect and see if we can get this to a more manageable HP level. As he actually decides to go for the Dual Wing Beat here, which is going to do quite a bit of damage. But I do get the Wish off. And on this next turn, I'm just going to go for the Protect so that I can get that health back. And then I'm going to go for the Scald and do as much damage as I can because I know now that they're not going to go for the Flare Blitz. What's not so great is that I'm not going to be able to outspeed the Blacephalon, so even if I can take out this Talonflame here on the next Scald, this is going to be Vaporeon's last opportunity to get a KO. So it's going to come down to whether my Shiftry can take out the Blacephalon. And neither of us have Dynamaxed yet. But we live the dual Wimby right there. That lets us go for the Scald. And the Scald actually is going to be taking out the Talonflame in one shot right there. So that's actually great. This Vaporeon can take hits, can absorb or get back a lot of HP, and it can deal some damage. So Vaporeon's a really cool evolution. Honestly, when it comes to competitive, I think right now it's my favorite, but Leafeon's my favorite design. But here comes the Blacephalon, my opponent's last Pokemon. Like I said, Vaporeon's probably going to be outsped. We're going to go for the Scald anyway, just in case. They actually decide to Dynamax here, which is super interesting. I guess they didn't think they could knock me out in one shot, which is, you know, we are max HP, max special defense, so maybe they couldn't. But the good news is we can take out one of their Dynamax turns and saw a little bit. The bad news is they're going to get the +1 in special attack with the Beast Boost. He actually gets the crit right there, which I don't think mattered, but this is where the match comes down to. He gets another special attack boost, so any move is going to knock out my last two Pokemon. I decide to send out Torkoal first to set up the Sun, so my Shiftry can outspeed. Now the question is, can I live one attack so I can get off a Rapid Spin so that my Shiftry still has its Focus Sash? That's what's going to win me or lose the match right here. So here comes the Max Phantasm, and she is not going to be able to live that hit, which really sucks. He gets a third Beast Boost, which doesn't really matter. I'm pretty sure 1 or 2 is enough. But we don't get that Rapid Spin off, so the Rocks are still on the field, and Shiftry on the switch-in is going to be losing the Focus Sash. Without that Focus Sash, our odds here are looking pretty slim. I don't think the Shiftry can take out the Blacephalon in one shot. But we're going to try. So, we're going to Dynamax. It's our last Pokemon. We got no other options. So we go for the Dynamax, and I'm actually going to go for the Max Guard here, so that we can stall their last turn of Dynamax. Let them go back to normal form, so that hopefully, you know, they have less HP, so we have a better chance of taking them out. My opponent here had a similar idea, and actually decides to go for the Max Guard, which kind of sucked, because I could have got a Nasty Plot off. But they go for the Max Guard, that's their last Dynamax turn. So now, if my opponent has a Focus Sash, they win the match. They can live on 1 HP and take me out with the Fire type move. If they don't have a Focus Sash, I can win with this Max Darkness. So, moment of truth. Here comes the Max Darkness, and they end up not having a Focus Sash on the Blacephalon. It's going to be going down, and that's going to be the end of the match, guys. That's probably been one of the closest matches I've had that I've posted so far. My opponent had a really cool Fire type team, the Mono Fire team, and I had the really fun Sun team. So, thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll keep posting these cool battles when I can. See you.